Kevin, are we live?
That we are. I was just getting a
Sondre
tweet
has
out
replied.
quickly.
He gave me the green light.
He has allowed you.
Yes, he says, as long as they are all right with it, then yes. That was his exact words. Are you okay with it?
Well, it's an extra driver, so I mean, if Sondre's okay and Jars doesn't seem to mind, then I guess so. But I mean, you're going to be here for qualifying anyway, Laurie. So I mean, you don't really have much.
From the thing.
Yeah, you don't have much of a choice in that. So I guess you can kind of commentate on that, and then I'll see you down on the track later on for the race. Then, obviously, 11 drivers, 12 is better than 11, especially when it is this kind of low.
Of course.
So yeah, it's
just very thankful for the opportunity.
Yeah. So Jared Fosbury setting in 19.7, Sean going quicker a few moments earlier with a 19.5, and Paco Suarez first one into the 18s with an 18.7, and actually Adrian Villarreal interestingly not beating him, as of course we do have a bit of a championship fight, not a title fight between the drivers, but that of the constructors between the Haas and the McLaren teams. Both drivers here today, so certainly a proper fair fight, you can say, between the two teams. Of course, the Haas team with the advantage of, I think, me and Paco were doing this quite a lot last week, but I think the gap is 14 points, advantage Team Haas. So if the Haas outfit can pull away a little bit more, they can take it today, technically. But with the McLaren 1-2 last week out, I think they're going to have to fight for it, certainly, as two Haas is not doing too badly right now. Alan Wagner putting it in 6th, and Kieran one Kieran Spears, I should say, in 9th with 20.8. Only one on the mediums, though, so certainly I think he'll be able to improve on that lap.
Yeah, I do agree. It's going to be quite difficult to commentate as I'm out on track, but a lot of these guys in this league, I've been practicing for a fair bit, Kevin, and to be fair to them, the times have been very, very representative for the league that they're currently in. But Monza's a very difficult track, as we experienced yesterday. The curbs can be a killer here, so let's see if these guys can handle the curbage, as I like to call it.
Yeah, as Adam Wagner certainly handling it quite well. That is 4 thousandths better than Adrian Villarreal, so very, very similar lap times between second and third. The McLaren driver obviously crucially getting ahead of the Haas. Kieran Spears is certainly going to have to improve on his lap as well, as you are actually out on the racetrack. So I mean, I didn't really consider that. I kind of considered that you wouldn't be able to do poly, but I forgot you can actually go on track. So I mean, I guess you can do between. But
yeah, I'm trying my best. So let's see how it goes. The on-track commentator. It's like, it's like Ted Kravitz, but actually racing round.
Yeah,
so.
We go to Lordy down at the track. How's the Scary for you, Lordy?
Well, I've got my own setup, which is not normally the case around here. So it's a bit bumpy. Probably see me spin off a fair few times. But yeah, it's not too bad. I'm about to start my lap on the mediums.
And I think I'll take you through a lap of your own lap, I guess, as you exit the final corner. So I'm sure Lordy would like some quiet for this, but he's not going to get any unless you were to leave. So
nah, go for it.
Yeah, he's going to open up DRS, of course, approaching turn 1 on the mediums right now. So his competition really is going to be Kieran Spears. Maybe he can get in a bit more to the top 10 as he goes through. Of course, no hands for Lordy, so it's going to be a little more difficult to turn the wheel of the car, but he does it quite well going through turns 1 and 2 as he goes through the flat, very long turn 3, and then through to the second chicane. Paco Suarez a little bit up on track. He is actually apparently purple in sector 1, at least on my track map, as he's going to be going through the two lesbians, as Cameron Young loves to call them quite a bit, as he's going to exit them and open up DRS approaching this Renault now, so it might have a little bit of traffic coming up as the Renault gets out of the way, so he's going to be able to go through Ascari quite nicely as he's going to cut the curb as much as he can. Doesn't look like he took and actually he's going to have quite a bad exit. I don't think this is going to be very competitive anymore if he's going to go into pit lane or not, but he's going to seemingly continue on, still using the ERS, going through the final corner now. We'll see how much, or well, how well he can do, as he hasn't set time yet. He's going to be coming across the line in a few moments. On the mediums, can he beat Kieran at least? And he is going to do it. Only just 200s between the two in 10th and 11th.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of laps from me, as you saw for Ascari. The killer on the curb, on the exit, especially with these mediums. A lack of grip for myself, but yeah, we recovered it at the end and set a solid lap time. Obviously we can go a lot faster than that, but a time on the board is always better than no time on the board. Yeah,
it certainly is, and if you were to stay there, mediums wouldn't be too bad of a tyre to start on either. As we go to Jared Fosbury, he is finishing up Sector 2, he's 3/10 up on his time, currently on a 19.7, so this is looking at least like a low 19, maybe can go into the top 4, maybe ahead of Sean, maybe challenge Adrian Villarreal and Alan Wagner as well. They're very close in second and third. Maybe he can get in the mix as he comes through the final corner. What can he do in the Renault? Of course, he wasn't able to beat Adrian Villarreal to the championship as he lost it last week, but maybe he can do something here, and he puts it in second, a 10th, or just roughly a 10th quicker than Alan Wagner to put it in second, and actually a Renault front row lockout here today. Well,
yeah,
at the moment,
seen the Renault of Paco Suarez actually lost it at Ascari, like I nearly did a lap before. I was going to give him some slipstream down the straight, but I think Paco's lost it and put it in the wall. Front wing damage for himself, but luckily not out of the session, so let's see what Paco can do through there. See if he can do any better than there, because obviously, you know, not the best line through there for Paco.
Yeah, seemingly not, of course, as he comes into the pit lane, but being the only one on the 18s, 8 minutes left, of course, so certainly time for improvement, but it's got to be a good amount of confidence, as Adrian Villarreal is going to be starting this lap now, as he's, of course, opened up DRS, going to be approaching the first 2 corners. You got to really cut the first curb a lot to gain quite a bit of time. He does it nicely, but could have maybe turned in a little bit earlier and took it a little bit nicer, as he's actually going to get a bit of slipstream now from his teammate Thiago there, as they're going to be going down towards the second chicane, so he's certainly going to be improving a little bit extra down towards the second chicane, of course, improving in Sector 1, but not enough to be looking at pole position, as Kieran Spears, they're splitting to Renaults in second place with a 19.0, just ahead of Jared Fosbury. 200ths between them, seems to be very close between a few cars, as now Adrian Villarreal, of course, a championship winner, you can say that now, that is confirmed since last week. He's going to come through Sector 2, purple in Sector 2, 2/10 up on his time, so right now it's not going to be pole, but if he can improve as he exits through Ascari, he's going to have to find a little bit of time, maybe going through the final corner. He's going to be challenging Paco Suarez for this pole position. I'm sure it's at least going to be an 18 from the championship leader, and as he comes through the final corner now, he's going to be crossing the line. What can the Haas driver do? Across the line, and it is pole position with an 18.6. This goes over a 10th quicker than Paco Suarez, so Paco got a little bit of work to do if he wants his pole position back.
Yeah, very impressive lap time from that man there. I don't even think I could beat that. I think my best lap time was exactly the same. Obviously, people running different setups around here. My setup definitely not the best setup to run around here. It's as wayward as hope. But yeah, very impressive from that man there. Let's see if anyone can beat it. Hopefully Paco or maybe even Jared Fosbury can beat it, but not too sure how well it's going to go for some drivers. Thought there would be a bit of a bigger turnout tonight, but Monza isn't one of them tracks that is lust after, let's say.
Yeah, well, actually, you're back on track now. It looks like you're going to be the next person to be setting a lap. I'm not sure, actually. Is Alan Wagner ahead of you? He is, as he's going to be going through the first chicane, so you're not going to be critiqued for your lap, at least, so you can be on your merry way, as Alan Wagner is going to be coming out, of course, of the second chicane through turn 3, flat out, not really much to say as he approaches the the second chicane, really got to get the turn in right to cut it as much as you can. Actually does it quite nicely. Second part of the chicane, maybe could have turned a little bit earlier, maybe losing a little bit of time. Of course, currently in 6th, and McLarens have to do quite well here today, and the Haas has put on pole position Adrian Villarreal, so he's going to really have to be looking at least at the top 3s through the second part of the double right-handers. Loses the back end, so I don't think this is going to be much of an improvement. As you know, he's going to go back down with the ERS, and he's going to be trying maybe to set another lap. So I guess we will go back on to Lordy then. He's going to be going through Scurry himself, and he invalidates.
The wrong time.
yeah, certainly maybe the wrong timing. As yeah, no improvement there, as it looked like maybe you were purple in Sector 2, I'm not sure, but
said for me I was, but whether it was true or not, I'm not too sure. The Ascari wasn't even too bad. I think it was I was on the limit of the invalidated, really. I don't know if you saw it or not, but yeah, a bit unlucky for me. The first sector wasn't brilliant, but need just to get the lap in, really. But obviously with only 12 drivers, if I get the lap in, it's great. If I don't, then I don't. So
yeah, as Jared Fosbury now, of course, second in the championship. That's the best he can be hoping for. There is actually a bit of a fight for second in a way between himself and Tom Jewell, and indeed Kieran Spears. Any one of them can still take second place. So Jared Fosbury, of course, he was fighting for a championship. Can't take it anymore, but certainly can lose second place. So there's a little bit on the line here for the Renault driver. Of course, if you think way back to season 5, he was the champion in the Renault. Went up against Paco Suarez and beat him to the championship. Paco Suarez certainly would have liked that to be the other way around. It was a very close championship, but a few things going wrong for Paco Suarez and things going right for Jared. Things are going right for Jared right now, though. 2/10 up on his time at the moment, so could be looking maybe at a second. Might be able to beat his teammate to second place. I think Adrian Villarreal might be a little bit too far away, but he could prove us wrong as he goes through the final not chicane, the final corner I should say, hugs the right hand side of the track to try and gain a little bit more time, and he's going to go across the line. Third place for Jared Fosbury was an 18.8 flat. Yeah,
very impressive lap time for Jared. I don't think he'll have time for another one. Let's see, so I need to move to the side to allow... Oh no, it is Jared coming through the chicane, so Jared actually, yes, he's just finished his lap. It's quite hard to keep track of people when you're on track yourself and commentating at the same time, so hopefully I can personally get a lap in just to see where I am at with some pace compared to some of these guys. But you know, quite solid lap times from these guys. Whether the pole lap time will be broken, I'm not too sure. I think it's consistency is key around Monza, and you know, you can pull out a worldie of a lap, but you ain't going to do it 9 times out of 10, more like 5 times out of 10 with the amount of dodgy curves around here. But yeah, anybody else out on track who's on a lap, or is everyone just starting their final run?
Yeah, everyone is kind of preparing. Tim Mercedes seemingly was on a lap, maybe aborted it. He's got a full battery, so he'll be able to go again, but they'll be kind of worn tyres at this point, as we'll see if he is going to want to set this time or not. You would assume he is, since he's slowed down so much to save his battery life. As he's going to be hugging the right hand side? No, he's going to continue not to use it as he's going to go into the pits. So the next one up, Jared Fosbury is not on a lap. He's going to be going to the pit lane as well. So first on track, I think it's a Haas. It might be, no, it's maybe Sean, no, Thiago it is. So was right about one thing with the Haas, is he's going to be approaching the first 2 corners. Drop down to 8th at the moment, as didn't seem like a great first chicane from the Haas driver, as he's on the softs. Of course, he's going to be looking for a pole position. His teammate currently the pole sitter with an 18.6, so he's going to have to improve by quite a lot, as it seems like he hasn't improved at all in the first sector, I should say. It seems like he was equal, according to what I've seen at least, as he's going to be coming through the double right-hander here. That's opening up the TRS, as we're going to be seeing how much he's up on his time in Sector 2, if he is at all, as he's going to be coming across the Sector 2 line in a few moments. 4 tenths up for the Haas driver, and 19.2, but that's going to be invalidation for the Haas driver as he comes out of Ascari, so that's not going to be any sort of improvement. I think Paco Suarez is just behind him there. In the Renault, he's going to be coming out of Ascari. Who knows how much he's up on his time, but if he is, he's certainly going to be looking at pole position. Adrian Villarreal is just about starting his lap in the first chicane, so through the final corner for Paco Suarez. Can he put it on pole position as he's going to be approaching the line? Currently on an 18.7, he puts it on to pole position with an 18.2. It's going to be a big ask from Adrian Villarreal to beat that time. An amazing lap time from the Spaniard to put it on pole position. I think it's Alan Wagner next to cross the line. Thiago is done for the day, same with Tim Mercedes as well in 9th and in 10th. Alan Wagner going to be coming through the final chicane. Paco Suarez put it on pole position not too long ago, a few moments ago. Can Alan Wagner have anything to do with it? He's going to need a pole position for the constructors as well across the line, and he is going to put it on P2 with an 18.5, but not able, as actually Adrian Villarreal into the wall at the exit of Ascari. He's not going to be improving out of this qualifying session, so he is in third. That is the best he can be hoping for. Kieran Spears seems to be the last person realistically who could take pole position off of Paco Suarez through the final corner. Now Paco Suarez has been doing well in the past few races, for sure. Of course he missed Canada due to a race ban, but can Kieran Spears take it off him? No. Third place, the two McLarens ahead of the two Haas's crucially, but Paco Suarez, your pole sitter today, a great lap, an 18.2. No one was close to him.
Yeah, fantastic lap from Paco. Absolutely sensational lap. He has got pace in him, especially when he tries. And a track like Monza, like I said, once you nail it, you really nail it. And Paco even shoving the likes of me up by a long way. So well done to Paco. That even F1 pace so a few drivers would be having a few questions about Paco, and even in an F1. So really a bright light in what's been a miserable sort of qualifying session with these dark clouds. So well done to Paco Suarez.
Yeah, you really can't take anything away from him. Of course, he's one penalty point away from a ban. Maybe he's thinking if he puts it on pole position a bit more, then he won't have to get involved in anything. Of course, that's exactly what he's done. He'll be hoping that he can get a 1 second gap by the time lap 3 comes around with the DRS. And well, he's put himself in the perfect position, especially 3/10 ahead of Alan Wagner in second. But you can't count out the two McLarens. Of course, they dominated last week in Canada. Don't count them out at all. Don't expect them to fall back from Paco Suarez. They are very capable race winners, and Kieran Spears has taken 2 wins this season, and I'm sure he'll be hungry for another one.
Yeah, quite a hectic qualifying session, really, back and forth. People trying to beat the lap time and throughout the entire session, and nobody really getting that close. But on the screen, I'll let you run through the top 10.
Yeah, of course, Paco Suarez putting it on pole position, kind of the season 5 Paco Suarez maybe coming back into fruition in a little bit. Two McLarens, of course, right behind him. The Haas of Adrian Villarreal in 4th, Jared Fosbury rounds out the top 5. Yourself in 6th, Adrian Lennon in 7th, Sean in 8th, Thiago 9th. That is Tim Mercedes in 10th, and then Reece March and Tom Jewell outside of the top 10. So I guess you'll be going back to the other parties then, Lordy, for the race?
Yeah, well, I think to make your job a bit easier, I don't think I'll be as willing to talk, especially when I'm battling the likes of Jared Fosbury. But yeah, hopefully it goes all right.
Anyway, good luck for it. It seems to be set up for a race that's going to have lots of racing, and you're right in the middle of it, Lordy. So certainly good luck that you don't get any wing damage in that one.
Yeah, I'll take it as aggressive as possible. I'll take it as best as I can, see how it goes, and hopefully bag myself a nice podium finish maybe at the end. Hyping myself up a bit, but
you'll be back in this party soon, maybe, you never know. But first of all, to get on the podium first, you have to finish, But
I do agree. Well, I'll leave it in your hands. I hope the viewers enjoy. Hopefully I'm not involved in too many accidents, and let's see how it goes. So have fun, Kevin.
Yeah, I will see you later, Laurie.
Take care, boss.
So of course it's going to be a one-man com from now to the end. 2 viewers, unfortunately. I mean, a very good race that it seems that we're going to be having at the moment, as of course Paco Suarez going to be leading the pack away. He's well used to doing this. You would think from Season 5, of course. He's been in this position before. He's been in first before Jared Fosbury down in P5, so not a full kind of Season 5 back for the Renault guys, but I mean, well, I mean he's done very, very well for himself, and he's really proving some people wrong that he can be up here, he can do well, and it's all down to the race now. If he can take a win today, because he hasn't. The last win I think he's taken was Monaco on last game in season. Let me just think about this. This is season 10, so 9, 8. I think it would have been season 7 his last win, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe season 8. If I think back to Monaco, no, that wasn't. So yeah, it must have been season 7 his last win. On the last game. So it's been a while for Paco Suarez to be in this position. Of course, he did have a podium in France, and since then, actually, things have gone pretty well for the Spaniard. So yeah, the 2 McLarens, of course, right behind. They took a dominant 1-2 last week out. Of course, Adrian Villarreal in third. They're in the same order. Of course. Qualifying wise, last week it was Alan Wagner who beat his teammate to pole position. Paco Suarez, of course, in front, and don't count out Jared Fosbury. He's in the background. I'm sure he's hungry to take his second win of the season, and at Italy it's a little more likely, because I mean anything can happen here. Plenty of overtakes as well. Lordy, of course, maybe a one-off race. Of course, we didn't have many numbers, and he was given the green light by Sondre if I said yes, and I mean, it's an extra driver, we know he's clean anyway, so that is why he is there. And then of course Adrian Lennon took a podium actually 2 weeks ago in Brazil, and then Sean in 8th, Thiago in 9th, the other half, so he's going to have to do a little bit better to try and help out his teammate constructors wise. And then of course rounding out the grid to 2 AlphaTauris and Reece March. So we will go to the front of the grid, of course. Hopefully, you'd expect it to be a good race today, as it's 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix, and it's lights out, and away we go. Looks like a pretty good start from Kieran Spears, maybe going to be getting the jump on his teammate. Is actually side by side. Paco Suarez have actually had a bad getaway there. Didn't look initially too bad, but into turn 1, the 2 McLarens going to be trying to take a 1-2, and it looks like they've actually done so. Kieran Spears behind his teammate Alan Wagner, so the McLaren's going to be leading the way through turn 2, but Paco Suarez, I don't think he's done yet. He's going to be right at the back of Kieran Spears into turn 4 now, side by side between the 2. Paco Suarez trying to make up places, and he has actually made up a place on Kieran Spears, back up into 2nd place after a bad start. Kieran Spears looking down the inside again, but I think he's going to have to back out of that. He has, as in the background, Adrian Villarreal has had to stay put in 4th with Jared Fosbury and 52 title rivals before this week, running very close together. Lordy a little bit off in 6th, kind of holding up a bit of a train in a way. Sean and Adrian Lennon right at the back of him, pretty much from there to the end of the grid. But you can see now the top 5 very nicely going through Ascari, very, very close between all of them, as I think that's going to be a few warnings for some people there. So I'm just going to get some extra things up on the screen. Yeah, we'll do the gap to leader for now, and we will continue on with this, well, seemingly very, very interesting race. Hopefully it's going to be, as actually Kieran Spears is going to be on the back of Paco Suarez. He's going to be looking down the inside. Maybe his teammate Alan Wagner has made a little bit of a gap. He's actually moving over maybe to give his teammate a little bit extra of slipstream, but he's not going to be able to get enough over speed, as the Haas actually gets very close to the back, and to the back of the McLaren. And as the timing screens I've just realised are actually messed up. But yeah, Kieran Spears is certainly running 3rd place. The Haas did get close to him, but nothing was going to happen between them. Is Lordy making an overtake? I honestly can't tell. No, it doesn't. Actually, no, he has. He's made an overtake on Jared Fosbury. Maybe Jared Fosbury making a mistake as he loses out to Lordy for the P5. Paco Suarez still trying to make up for a bad start earlier on in the race. He certainly has the pace, judging by quality at least. as he's going to be right at the back of the McLaren driver here. As they funnel through Ascari once again, the McLaren has not been able to break DRS going on to lap 3, of course, so Paco is going to have that DRS advantage. It's 3-second penalty for Jared Fosbury. He recently got overtaken, now a penalty, certainly not going too well at the moment for Jared Fosbury in his race, as Adrian Villarreal closes up a little bit more to the back of the McLaren. Of course, between the two, certainly do have a fight between them, and the McLarens are winning this battle right now. I will try, if there is time, as actually Adrian Lennon into the pit lane now. Very early stop. Maybe for damage, actually, we might be able to quickly get a little peek. As, yeah, that is for a wing change, so not a scheduled stop for the Racing Point. As, once again, the top 3 staying pretty much the same. Well, top 4 really staying the same, as Lordy is trying to close up to the leading pack here. Jared Fosbury seems to have lost out a little bit more to the Alfa Romeo. I think that gap is a little bit more than a second at this point. As Jared Fosbury actually kind of settling into a P6 a little bit on his own. As you can see, the top 3 very, very close together, and they seem to get closer every lap, really. As they're going to be funneling through Ascari. Kieran Spears still on the back of the Renault. He almost was able to make a move on the last lap or lap before. I'm not sure which it was, but he's certainly close right now as yellow flags. I think that's for Adrian Lennon once again. Well, not once again, but he is in 12th, and after an unscheduled pit stop, maybe getting a little bit more damage as Paco Suarez trying to close up to the leader of Alan Wagner, but not able to close up enough at the moment, as the top 3 stay pretty much as is. As actually, has he? Oh, that's just a gap to the leader, so I'll just change that quick. As you can see, Kieran Spears actually right on the back of the Renault. 2 tenths between the two. Paco Suarez might have to defend this as Kieran Spears closes up once again. He's going to be looking down the inside, but no, he's not going for a move. He's going to be sensible about it and stick behind for now, as the top 3 will stay as is. Kieran Spears certainly looking hungry for this move, as he's got his teammate to help him out a little bit as well. Of course, him leading this race. As you can see, really quite the gap as Jared Fosbury under pressure now from Tim Brusselens for this P6. Of course, he got overtaken by Lordy. Is actually he is going to be getting overtaken. Tim Brusselens on the inside of Jared Fosbury going through Ascari, and he is going to a ballsy move, I should say, going through Ascari. Not many people would be making a move, and even then you have to trust the other guy's going to back out, and he did so, Jared Fosbury, and up into P7, or actually P6 I should say, for Tim Brusselens. Jared Fosbury down to P7, but it might not be over yet though, as they go through the final chicane, well, the final corner. Certainly at the front as well, the McLaren closing up to the back of Paco Suarez. You can see the braking as well as he brakes, getting ever closer to the gearbox of the Renault as Jared Fosbury gets back past in the background there as well of the AlphaTauri driver, as they do a little switch in the last lap. As you can see visually, the top 5 have really pulled away. In a race of 12 people, you wouldn't think there'd be all that much happening. Of course, yesterday in F1, that's kind of what happened. Numbers, I think, maybe were a little higher than this. I think we had about 14, but people kind of just got a bit distant, and in the end, it was well, we did have a safety car, but before the safety car was getting a little. Well, people were getting a little bit apart, and in this race, of course, certainly not the case. As the top 4, pretty much, Lordy maybe falling off the top guys a little bit, as he has actually lost DRS on the back of Adrian Villarreal. So 2 McLarens versus a Renault and a Haas, and of course the 2 McLarens fighting the Haas for a championship. Paco Suarez has nothing to lose here, really. Well, I mean, he does, but being 1 penalty point away, but he is going to be closing up to the back of the McLaren driver, as he's going to be looking to the outside. Brilliant defending from the McLaren driver, really places his car where it needed to be. Maybe went over to the little a little left, a little bit too much, but Paco Suarez isn't going to mind. He's going to be right on the back of the McLaren driver once again. He's going to go to the left-hand side. A bit of lag seemingly between the two, but Paco Suarez on the inside of the McLaren driver, side by side, going through the second chicane, and Paco Suarez is going to retake what was once his on pole position, and he's going to be leading this race once again. A brilliant move from Paco Suarez, ballsy move down the inside, and he is going to be able to maybe start to get a bit of a gap. Of course, he seemed quicker than everyone else by quite a significant amount. Is actually now on Wagner under pressure from his teammate here. His teammate might be looking down the inside. He's certainly looking down the inside, but he's going to be able to stick behind his teammate going through Scari and not cause any problems in the McLaren outfit, as he's going to be right at the back of his teammate once again. Maybe going to be trying to make this move, as Kieran Spears has to look out for Adrian Villarreal behind as well. He doesn't want to make too big of a move on his teammate that will put them both susceptible to the Haas behind them, as of course this fighting has allowed Lordy to actually close back up in the DRS as he gets back up into the top 5 trainers. Actually in the inside for Kieran Spears. The two McLarens maybe going to do a little bit of a switch here, as Kieran Spears on the inside, and he's going to take it before the first chicane, as McLarens do a bit of a switch. I don't think they were intending to fight each other too much, as now actually Kieran Spears on the back of Paco Suarez going through turn 3. Of course Slipstream going to be helping him out all the way down to the second chicane of turn 4, and Paco Suarez is going to continue to lead this race. A really nice drive from Paco Suarez. Bit bad of a start, but he made up for it, got the positions back, and he is back where he wants to be, of course leading this train. As into the pits on Jared Fosbury. Of course he was fighting earlier with the AlphaTauris, or at least around that train. Into the pit lane now, and he's going to come out in 11th. So kind of in the middle of nowhere in a way, as actually he does come out behind Adrian Lennon though in the racing point, and of course the fresher tyres, as we'll try and keep an eye on it if there is going to be an overtake. Maybe a little earlier than expected. No. Just going down the start finish straight. Kieran Spears might actually be a little bit under pressure from the Haas behind him, as well, one McLaren trying to make a move, one McLaren trying to defend, but nothing's going to come of it, and they're going to funnel through turns 1 and 2 pretty much as they were before, as I don't think Kieran Spears is going to be able to close up enough on the back of Paco Suarez, as Paco Suarez is going to continue to lead this race. And I mean I said it already, but he's leading it very well. Of course, it's very difficult to lead a race around Monza when everyone behind you is DRS and you don't, especially when you're only one penalty point away from not seeing the next race. But I mean, with that added pressure, you have to say he's doing an amazing job of handling it, as the McLaren just behind him. He's closing up so much going through a scar. He's going to close up to the gearbox of the Renault, but nothing's going to come of it, and he's going to have to stick behind once again. But I think he might be able to make a move going into the final chicane. Paco Suarez is going to defend to the inside, as round the outside Kieran Spears is going to try it, and the McLaren in the background as well, and Wagner may be trying to follow his teammate through. Round the outside for Kieran Spears, he's going to be able to make the move, but I think Paco Suarez might have picked up a DRS there. I'm not sure. We'll see, of course, who's going to open up the DRS flap, as it's going to get very hectic here. DRS for Paco Suarez, so Paco Suarez is going to maybe be able to pull ahead again. The McLaren's either side of the Renault in a way. Here's Paco Suarez going to be able to keep ahead of the two McLarens. The McLaren's now going side by side. There's a little bit of a car park there, as Paco Suarez seemingly having a bad exit there, as the McLaren is going to go through side by side between Adrian Villarreal and Kieran Spears. Kieran Spears momentarily was leading. Of course DRS is going to, oh my word, they're like side by side everywhere at the moment. Is in the background the Haas and the McLaren, and also Paco Suarez and Wagner as well, fighting it out for the lead, and Wagner going to be able to take the lead. And well, I hope that things die down a little bit here, as Adrian Villarreal closes up to the back of Paco Suarez as well. There's a retirement for Adrian Lennon in the pit lane, So he has called it a day, but I mean, it doesn't really matter because I mean, we are having such a good fight between the top guys. It's actually Adrian Villarreal having a bit bad of an exit here, and Lordy is going to be able to go through and take P3 on the racetrack right now, as the McLaren of Kieran Spears trying to make up for last lap is trying to make the move on the Haas. At least he's not going to be able to do it as they funnel through. Lots of changing between the top guys. I mean, I was actually into the pits now on Wagner as well. It looked like Kieran Spears wanted to pit that lap as well, but he's going to have to stick out another lap. So an undercut strategy for on Wagner. Very clever to do that at that point, as Paco Suarez is going to retake the lead. Lordy, of course, is going to inherit a P2 now, as Kieran Spears is going to go back up into P3. Tim Verstappen's kind of in a lonely P4 at the moment, as his teammate recently pit. As actually Adrian Villarreal also pitting along with Tom Jewell. Of course, I just said that he pit. I thought he pitted a little earlier than that, but no, he's in the same lap as everyone else. On go the hard tyres for Tom Jewell, which is interesting. Some of the strategy is soft medium. Maybe it was a mistake, but Paco Suarez is now going to be able to actually have a bit of a breather, seemingly, as so much fighting the last few laps. It's died down now, but certainly I don't think we're going to see the end of it, as Alan Wagner seemingly having a decent gap to Haas behind him, as all these guys you would be expecting to be into the pit lane on this lap right now, as Paco Suarez is going to be approaching the pit lane first. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to try and stay out longer on these softs or pit, as is he going to be going to the right hand side? He is going to be going into the pit lane, and the top three all into the pits. As actually, is that a penalty for Lordy there? Maybe behind him as well. Which one is it? This is penalties. 3-second penalty for the top two, actually. I didn't know that, but it seems like Kieran Spears has picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I'm not completely sure because I didn't quite catch it, but Alan Wagner now is going to be approaching Paco Suarez, as I think they might be kind of side by side. As you can see, Paco Suarez on the left, but Alan Wagner is going to pull ahead, and well, I mean, a good undercut strategy, I should say, is actually an undercut from the Haas as well. Actually, a little bit of contact between himself and Paco Suarez, as Paco Suarez is going to be a little bit under pressure from Lordy as well, as Paco is going to be trying to make this move back on the Haas. The Haas did make an undercut strategy work, but it did also tap the Renault driver. As around the outside, Paco Suarez side by side between the two. Actually, very respectful driving. Is 3 wide. Now, not here, guys. Is on the inside. Lordy, as he's going to actually push off into the gravel. Adrian Villarreal and a virtual safety car. Paco Suarez was not able to come out on top of that. 3 wide between them, and Lordy on the inside. Paco wasn't backing out. Of course, Adrian wasn't backing out either on the outside. Got tapped off the track, and actually, for his sake, didn't lose too much time because the virtual safety car was called at the right time for him to be able to close back up. So not going to be losing out so much, or at least as much as he would have with a virtual safety car. That virtual safety car, by the way, was for Thiago Santos, I should say. Not Silva, I was saying Silva, but it is Thiago Santos is his name. So out of this race is Reece March, is actually going to take an opportunity to pit here, and he might be putting himself in a very good position, as he's going to be coming out in a legit P5, but I think he's going to get passed by Kieran Spears. Yeah, he is. Down to P6. On go the hard tyres for the Mercedes driver. Certainly should have been mediums. I don't know why he's gone with the hards, and I don't know why Tom Jewell's gone with the hards either. The mediums is the better strategy, but regardless, Reece March certainly putting himself in a pretty good position. Paco Suarez now, after losing out to Lordy, 1.5 seconds between the two. Alan Wagner is having the time of his life. Of course, he undercut that fight pretty much, and now he's leading by a healthy 6-second gap. So after all that fighting, I mean, I guess something was going to happen of it, and well, they're a little bit split up now. It's not necessarily that people aren't close to each other. As you can see down the straight, there's about 6 cars running close enough to each other, but none of them are in the DRS, and that's what you need really to be making overtakes on this track. Of course, a bit of DRS advantage does help. Using the ERS, it kind of guarantees you a move almost if the person ahead of you doesn't have DRS themselves, and with no one having DRS, it's going to be very difficult for people to close up as well. So yeah, it's just kind of quiet now. There's 5.5 seconds between the top 2, so it seems like Lordy may be closing up a little bit, as the gap was pretty much 6 seconds last lap. As now Pacosaurus has got back in to the DRS range. Timber Stalins picking up a 3-second penalty. Not sure if that was his first one, as we can actually just go and have a little check, as it is his first 3-second penalty of the race. Is the fastest lap of the race from Pacosaurus, of course, on those slightly fresher mediums compared to people like Alan Wagner and Adrian Villarreal, as is going to be closing up to the back of Lordy. Maybe he is the man to close back up to Alan Wagner as well. You never know, as it seems like Pacosaurus, well, obviously Pacosaurus the quickest driver out on track, as he closes up loads going through that chicane. Seemingly a bit of a warning, I think, as he goes through. Still only 3 seconds though, so not getting a second penalty of the day. But I do have to go to this battle. I think there's a battle, of course. Jared Fosbury going at it with Tom Jewell. This is for 2 points in this race. Is side by side between the two of them. Jared Fosbury on the outside. He'll have the inside for turn 4 in the chicane, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. As actually, he's going to be trying it. He's going to lunge it down the inside of Tom Jewell. Tom Jewell isn't having any of it, and he's going to be able to stay ahead. And a nice little fight for 9th place. Tom Jewell getting the better of Jared Fosbury at the moment. And now we switch to another fight. Pacosaurus is on the back of Lordy. He's going to be opening up his DRS as they approach turn 1. He's closing down to the first chicane, and he's going to be on the inside of Lordy. He's going to place his car quite nicely and up into P2, and he can chase after P1 of Alan Wagner as well, unless Lordy has anything to say about it, as he's going to be in the slipstream going down towards turn 4, but I don't think he's going to be close enough, and it doesn't look like he is visually either, as he's going to be having to settle with 3rd place. Pacosaurus recovering a little bit up into P2 now. It's a question of, can he catch Alan Wagner, and well, also if Alan Wagner is going to get a penalty this race or not. If not, then I think Alan Wagner has pretty much won it without any mistakes, but yeah, you certainly can't count out people like Adrian Villarreal and Lordy. Of course, they had a 3 wide moment earlier on. So don't expect that to not happen again, or don't expect them to generally just be fighting again, but I think Pacosaurus really is trying to get a bit of a gap to the guys behind him now. As into the pits, that is Jared Fosbury going onto the soft tyres, so maybe trying to make up some time on Tom Jewell, but a little bit early of a stop for the softs though. Of course, if they're fresh softs, might be a little better, or a little easier to do. As through the first chicane, Lordy trying to close up to the back of Pacosaurus. But once again, I think it's a little bit too far off. Of course, no DRS going down this second straight, and he's going to have to stick behind once again of the Renault. The Renault continues to lead this little train for 2nd place. As in the background as well, Kieran Spears certainly going to be getting involved in this soon. I think is almost within, and now within the DRS range. So it's going to become a 4-way fight for second place. Of course, it was these guys and Alan Wagner going for the lead earlier. Is actually Adrian Villarreal seemingly trying to make a move on Lordy. Not going to be able to do it, as Lordy, I think, maybe used a little bit of ERS on the later part of the straight, but now actually they're going to be side by side as Adrian Villarreal pulls to the left hand side. He's going to be side by side with the Alfa Romeo driver, and he's going to be looking around the outside, but not going to be able to do maybe a bit of a switchback now as to get a bit better of an exit. He's right up the gearbox of the Alfa Romeo as the Alfa Romeo moves a little bit left and right. I think that's a bit of lag as well, as Paco Suarez a bit of a sitting duck now as down the inside Lordy goes on Paco Suarez, but I don't think the Haas is done with him yet, as side by side Paco Suarez going to be trying to make up for what was just lost as side by side once again, very similar to earlier on, as now the McLaren on the outside, Paco Suarez losing more places as McLaren around the outside of him, and he is going to be able to get that place unless Paco Suarez can do anything, as now Kieran Spears trying to make up another place on Adrian Villarreal around the outside of the second chicane. He's going to be able to do nice moves from the McLaren driver, as Paco Suarez is now trying to get around the outside as well, side by side once again. Last time they did it around that corner, it didn't go so well. This time a little bit better. And, well, Kieran Spears now getting himself up into P3, Lordy up into P2, and of course Adrian Villarreal and Paco both losing out places. Paco Suarez the most, as he led this train a few, well, only a lap ago Paco Suarez is leading this train, so that just goes to show how powerful DRS is around this track, the tempo of speed. And while these guys fight it out, it's allowing really Alan Wagner out in front now, an 8-second gap to this fight. So if the safety car came out, he could almost pit and retain his lead. Not quite. I mean, 8 seconds is not quite enough, but maybe if he can get maybe 4 or 5 more seconds, he would be able to think about a pit stop to emerge still in the lead. Is that a little bit of an incident there in turn 1? What's going on? No, not turn 1. There was Tom Joe, was it? Yeah, I think so. As I funnel through, Paco Suarez actually almost losing out DRS as well, as he has lost out DRS 1.2 seconds now between himself and the driver ahead. In terms of DRS, he's not doing too badly, but certainly, I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be a great feeling for Paco, knowing that he was at the front of this train a lap or two ago. You could say, is Paco Suarez also picking up a penalty for good measure, as the AlphaTauri of Tom Jewell gets out of the way. And the fastest lap from Jared Fosbury, he is going to actually be picking up that point. So, just an extra little thing for him is now Kieran Spears, after making the moves a few laps ago on the people behind him, he's going to be looking, he goes to the right, switches to the left hand side of the track, a dummy move around the outside of the Alfa Romeo, and he's going to be going up into P2. A very, very nice move from the McLaren driver to get up to P2, and now a McLaren 1-2 as well. And where have we seen this before? Only just last week in Canada. But Kieran Spears, 11 seconds of penalties though, so he will end up dropping behind this this train quite significantly, as the guys behind 6 seconds of penalties mostly, or actually no, all of them. Tim Mercedes a little bit further off with 3 seconds, so he's going to have to pull a 5-second gap by the end of this race. And while not impossible, I think Lordy isn't going to be letting him get away too much. As is that Jared Fosbury who's gone around? It is Jared Fosbury who went round at the exit of Ascari. Any damage for him, maybe? No damage, so just a spin. A little unfortunate for him. But now Lordy is going to be saying hello once again to the McLaren is down the inside of Kieran Spears side by side going through turn 1, and I think he should have this as he's mostly ahead through the corner, and he is going to be able to retake that P2 as now Adrian Villarreal wants a piece of it. Oh, actually up into the grass, Kieran Spears. Very suddenly there. Luckily Paco Suarez was able to avoid it. It was very last minute, but yeah, that was very interesting. I'm not sure what put him on the grass. I think it was just his own mistake. But yeah, I mean, that's once again. I mean, he was leading this train 2 seconds ago, and now he's at the back of it. Same with Paco. The same happened to Paco Suarez. So I mean, the same thing could just as easily happen to Lordy. It's almost going to come down to what lap it is for whoever is going to be leading this train to take the P2. As right up the back of Lordy, it's Adrian Villarreal's turn to try and make a move on Lordy. Of course, Lordy running in P2 at the moment. Is Adrian Villarreal going to have anything to say about that though, as he opens up DRS, closing up, going into turn 1, but I don't think he's going to be able to make a move though, as he pulls to the right hand side to have a look, but no move's going to be happening there as the rest funnel through as they all get ever closer to each other, as is the case. Is actually Paco Suarez losing the back end a little bit, might put him on the back foot, as Kieran Spears is going to be right at the back of him, but no, he's not going to be able to capitalise on Paco's mistake. Actually, kind of a similar mistake that Kieran Spears made, of course, not as significant as Paco Suarez clipped the grass. Kieran Spears went all 4 tyres on the grass and lost quite a few places. Now Adrian Villarreal going to be looking for this move once again on the back of Lordy. Paco Suarez still within the DRS. Is actually Kieran Spears right up the gearbox of him, as Tom Jewell and Jared Fosbury fighting once again. But I'm going to keep on board with this fight because it is a little bit more, well, I mean a lot more significant, you can say, as Lordy is ever more under pressure from the Haas. He takes a little bit wide of a line. Adrian Villarreal tried to go for the gap, but it closed very suddenly, so he's going to be having to hope that the DRS is going to be enough to make this move once again, as he's going to be in the slipstream of the Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo moves back to break the slipstream, which he's fully entitled to do, and well, he's not going to be able to make a move as Paco Suarez now closes back up to the Haas. As Tom Jewell, just going to check that fight really quick. I think this is kind of Jared Fosbury pulling away, if anything. As closing up in the background, Kieran Spears, Paco Suarez, but once again no moves being able to happen, as I'm just gonna try and take the opportunities I can to do some calculations for the constructors, because of course in this position McLaren are going to be able to close up more to the Haas team. Of course Thiago not going to be scoring any points, so it's all down to what Adrian Villarreal scores, as he's going to be right at the back of the Alfa Romeo. He's going to be going to the left, dummies, and then goes to the right. Okay, that was my bad, but it is going to be Adrian Villarreal to take that move, as he just saw Lordy dropping down. There's actually in the background Kieran Spears losing some time in 5th place. I can't remember if he was ahead of Paco Suarez. No, he wasn't ahead, as he had to go through. He had to go deep in turn 1 and break some of the boards. So the McLaren driver now lost DRS, and I think he can oh my word, what a save from Paco Suarez, as I just caught that. Almost losing it out of what is turn 6. but was just able to keep it on the track. But then he himself also losing out DRS. So it's really Adrian Villarreal and Lordy going for this P2 now. As Paco Suarez has lost a little bit too much time as Tom Jewell is making a move on Jared Fosbury. It looks like he's made it very recently. Is Jared Fosbury going to be trying a move around the outside now as this fight continues for P9? Of course, they're only fighting for an extra point, but they're certainly committed to getting it. As on the inside, Lordy is trying to take this back for his P2 on Adrian Villarreal, and he's going to be able to do it once again down the inside. Pretty easy move, as actually he's been tapped by Adrian Villarreal. Adrian not going to be capitalizing on anything. He's going to make sure the Alfa Romeo driver is going to stay ahead, but that's going to allow Paco Suarez back into this fight, which certainly neither of the two guys in front needed. As now Reese March, okay, Kieran Spears looking to maybe undercut these guys. Maybe thinking of a late safety car, because I think he's kind of aware that his hopes for anything better than a P5 are kind of gone. Maybe he's thinking that he was going to get beaten by Tim Mercedes as well. Maybe then his thoughts are that softs are going to be the better tyre to be on right now in his case, as he's going to have 4 laps remaining to really make the most of these tyres. At best, he could probably get a P6. He was looking at a guaranteed P6 before. Of course, he's going to get an extra point for fastest lap, you would assume. Sean Mayer also pit recently, but I think if he didn't pit, he would have been ahead of Kieran, maybe been in the running to take away a few more points from the McLaren driver. But of course, you can't predict everything, so he's going to be a little bit annoyed that he pit, I think. As in terms of the fight for second, Lordy now pulling away a little bit from Adrian Villarreal, as actually as yellow flags as Tom Jewell round in Ascari, as that is a reset the track, you naughty boy. Tom Jewell, I have caught you, so I mean, it won't really make a difference, a 5-second pen, but you have been caught. That is a broken rule. Certainly going to make you aware of that when I get back into the party. You didn't get away with it. As Jared Fosbury and Tom Jewell both into the pits once again. As second to fourth close up to each other once again. I am going to try and quickly do some calculations for the constructors. I'll just try and watch both, as Adrian Villarreal is closing back up to the Alfa Romeo driver, but I don't think he's going to be able to make a move going into turn 4, at least not on this occasion. As no, he's not, as he's gonna have to stick behind. So and actually now the Haas driver is going to be trying to make a move, and he's successfully going to make a move, but Lordy actually getting up the gearbox of the Haas driver and actually round. He did the same thing in qualifying. Of course, this is a championship leader, the championship winner, the season 10 F2 champion, round at the exit of Ascari just like qualifying, and that is going to be detrimental for the championship as well as we go on to the final lap of the race. Alan Wagner still leading Paco Suarez now, has kind of been gifted in a way a P3, or at least he's back in the running for it as another penalty, but I don't think that will matter too much as the gap to Tim Mercedes is a little bit big. But yeah, it looks like Alan Wagner's race really to lose on this final lap, as he's certainly going to be taking the final chicane, I think, quite cautiously. Or, well, the final Ascari quite cautiously, I should say, as didn't actually get a proper chance to do the calculations, but I will as I wait for them to join, so I'll have it for then, as round Ascari for the final time for Alan Wagner. Of course, he's led pretty much most of this race since his pit stop. He came out, emerged in P1, and he's led pretty much since then, as of course last week he wasn't able to beat his teammate to take a win, but this week he's on pole, well, not pole, he's taking the win, I'm sorry, as he crosses the line, and he's going to take his first win of the season. It was of course back in Austria. He was going for it, couldn't beat Thiago to it. Now he wins dominantly, 15 seconds in the lead. Lordy is going to take second, Paco Suarez in third. Tim Brusselins is going to pick up a P4, and Adrian Villarreal a P5, unless he's going to jump on penalties. No. So Adrian Villarreal down to fifth after that spin. Reece March is going to pick up a solid P6 for the Mercedes crew. And Kieran Spears, of course, after pitting, seeing that his, well, podium chances really were kind of out the window, he decided to pit for a fresh set of softs, so he's going to come across the line in 7th. And Sean Mayer in 8th, Tom Jewell in... interesting. As I think they're going to be trying to make this gap very small, or... What? Oh. Alright then, so we have got some donuts from second in the championship and third in the championship. Actually, I mean, if Tom Jewell was opportunistic, he would actually take this opportunity to gain an extra point on Jared Fosbury. As they are still fighting for second in the championship, but we do have some donuts from the two of them. As I'm not able to get a great angle for this, but I guess I'll leave you with the donuts until they decide that they're finished. As now they cross the line. As there is Alan Wagner, of course. He was the man who did everything right today. He undercut pretty much everyone, stayed out of trouble, and he's going to be able to spray the champagne and celebrate his first win of the season in very nice style, of course, in the tempo of speed. He was the fastest today. So, of course, it is Alan Wagner, as I said, winning ahead of Lordy and Paco Suarez taking a, I think, second podium this season. Tim Brusselins in 4th, Adrian Villarreal in 5th, Reece March in 6th, Sean, I should say, in 7th. Kieran Spears is going to take a P8, Jared Fosbury and Tom Jewell in 9th and 10th, and then Thiago and Adrian Lennon both DNFing earlier on in the race. So just to quickly get this, so 25 and then plus 4 and plus 10. $231. Okay. So I'm gonna have to go back in the stream very quickly to to check if they got fastest lap or not. If they did, then that means they are 2 points ahead, McLaren, of Haas. So, of course, Lordy joining back. We were wondering if we'd see him here again, and here we are. Well, it was very entertaining, actually, for a grid of 12 drivers, as Paco and Wagner. What? No, I'm not. Oh my god.
Got your structure, I'll let you go for it.
Yeah, this time, of course, you're not a commentator, you are the interviewee in a way, I guess you could say.
Hello.
As Paco and Alan Magner both getting in. So, just need to check very quick to make sure I'm not wrong in something. So, fastest lap was set by Kieran, which means they are 2:33 and then Haas 2:31. Okay. So, we'll start with you then, Alan. I just did some calculations, as you were hearing. With that win and Kieran Spears picking up what was a P7 and fastest lap, you are now 2 points clear in the Constructors' Championship, which I'm not sure if you were thinking about that, but that's also something that you were able to accomplish today. But back to the race, though. Your race, of course, at the start was quite hectic. You were fighting for the lead quite a bit, and you undercut the train, and from there it was smooth sailing.
Yeah, so I had an extremely good start, but I had one bad Oscari and immediately got overtaken twice in a lap. And then I almost crashed out when Paco...
Sorry, could you just see if you can make your mic a little bit louder, because you're a little quiet.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, just hold on a moment. Can do the rest of the interviews, so I'm going to need a bit of time here.
Did you listen to that, Kevin?
I couldn't hear.
He said do the rest of the interviews and then he'll try to get it up.
Okay, well, then I guess we'll go the opposite way with you, Paco, then third to first, which your race pretty much the whole way through was action-packed, you can say. Of course, you took pole position, a very dominant pole position, 3/10 ahead of Alden Wagner. Of course, fought to win pretty much your entire first stint, and then once Alden Wagner undercut you, you were fighting for a podium, and that's what you got.
Well, yeah, about the qualifying, it was surprising qualifying, to be sure. It was to be fair, sorry. I took pole, although it could have been a better time. I just missed some time in the second sector. And about the start, I ruined completely my start. I mean, I drifted a little bit loosely in the rear. And yeah, the McLarens took advantage of that. One of them actually both of them overtook me, but I was able to overtake one of them back. I'm not sure who. And yeah, the first stint was really exciting because we didn't stop fighting, and we were the whole time, switching positions. And I have to say, it's probably one of the most enjoyable races I've done in this game. But yeah, then I didn't expect them to pit that early on lap 9, I believe it was. And it caught me by surprise. So when I pitted, it was already too late. The McLaren was like 2 seconds ahead, or 1.8 or something like that. And we started fighting Sassy, Lodi and I, which almost ended up in tears as he went off the gravel, and probably that gave the McLaren the win. Totally deserved by him because it was really good. He had a really good pace. But yes, that's a shame because if that fight, would have been between all of us, included Kieran that also messed up at the end, it would have been a mega race.
Yeah, obviously unfortunate. Kind of a few incidents and a few points where things were going good and then bad. Of course, there was one point where you were leading the train for second, and the next second you knew and you were down in fifth. So and then actually the same thing I think happened to Lordy or someone in the train. So yeah, in the end, a very successful race, I guess you could say. A second podium this season, I'm fairly sure. I don't think that's wrong.
You're right.
Yeah. So certainly going back towards the front of the grid, maybe showing signs of the season 5 Paco a little bit. But of course, one round left. It's Bahrain. Do you think he can do well there?
Well, about, that season 5 Paco, well, I don't know. I mean, the turnout has been pretty low, We have to be realistic. It's true that probably the ones that we have turned out probably are the fastest of the tier, which could be a proof that maybe my pace was coming back bit by bit. And about Bahrain, well, to be honest, I don't like that much the track. But it's weird because I don't like it, but I'm not that bad. I mean, it's not my best track for sure, but maybe I'll be able to do something interesting there. So we'll have to wait and see for next week.
Okay, well, congratulations on your podium anyway, and good luck for next week.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to the podium guys and everyone else who managed to finish.
Yeah, and which would lead on then to Lordy, of course. Kind of a once-off race. You were kind of lucky to be allowed, but you were, and you ended up with a P2. Certainly fought for the lead a little bit as well. We're in that train or thereabouts. So how was your race, Lordy?
Yeah, just want to start off by saying thanks to everyone who did allow me to race. I know it's not the easiest thing to let people join the league because of lack of numbers or because they've asked and stuff, but I just wanted to show my gratitude just in the comms box. So thank you to Sandre, to yourself and to Jared for allowing it to happen, and I'm glad it was an entertaining race. Personally, I thought the start was pretty awful from me. I never get good starts off the line. I just don't know what it is, I can't do it. But then I think there was some contact with Tim and Sean hit me into the chicane, the second chicane, turn 3 or turn 4, whichever one it is, and then that caused me to initially lose the DRS to the guys ahead, so I thought it was damage limitation from there. But luckily I caught back up and had a really, really fun battle with the guys in F2. It really does make a difference when you are fighting for the front and you're on the pace, or the similar pace to the guys ahead. Unfortunately, we had that tangle with Sassy earlier in the race, with me, Paco and Sassy. I think the nature of the corner, you can only fit 2 cars down the side. I took advantage of them two obviously going very, very slowly, but I sort of anticipated Sassy wouldn't be there, and I moved to the left to obviously take a suitable line, because I would have taken the corner at a 90-degree angle, which would have been horrendous for myself and probably Paco as well. So that was... Whether we'll see what the stewards say about that if it is reported. I know Sassy obviously fought with us at the end as well, so he didn't end up losing that much time. But yeah, overall, congratulations to obviously Paco and Y Company. They were really, really good and deserved a podium today. And yeah, just like again, I was just say thank you to everyone for letting me race, and yeah, it was really good. Enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, it depends if you'll actually be there next week as well for Bahrain or not. I would prefer you on comms, and I would also prefer a larger grid than what would have been 11 people. But I mean, I guess you can kind of say for F1, you'll be in F1 anyway. How do you think you could do? Like, how's your pace in Bahrain?
Bahrain's an absolutely abysmal track, and I'm on pad, and I say that, so it's really not one of the tracks that I favour. Bahrain Short is more fun in my opinion. Hate me or love me for that comment, do whatever. I hate Bahrain. It's terrible, and the reason I don't like it is the first 3 corners are absolutely abysmal. You have no traction whatsoever, and it's just upshift central, double upshift central. So I don't know. I don't think I can race next week because I'm working on Saturday, so I don't think I will be there. So whether that's a good or a bad thing, I don't know.
Oh well. Regardless, so congratulations on the P2 and good luck for next week wherever you'll be.
Thank you very much.
And Alan, are you still here?
Yes. Can you hear me better now?
I guess
A
it is
little bit.
little bit better, yeah. We'll go with it anyway, I think. So yeah, I mean you were kind of already saying about your race, but just kind of a small like rundown that you were fighting for the lead in the first half pit and then led from there.
Yeah. I almost got taken out by Kieran and Paco doing some weird DRS tricks which caught me really off guard, and then I wasn't even able to overtake them into turn 1. But I think I eventually took the lead in turn 3, which after that I was just dominating. I think like I knew I could only get away with an undercut, which worked in the end. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about the race. Also showed good pace today.
Yeah, you showed very good pace, of course. Weren't able to put it on pole, but of course the race is the one that gives you the points. That's what matters. And of course you got that by, in the end, I think around 15 seconds with the guys behind fighting you. Everything pretty much from the second stint after you pit happened behind you, so you were able to maybe relax a little bit. Of course, in the constructors, as I was saying earlier, you are 2 points, like McLaren, 2 points ahead of Haas going into the last round. So I guess it's kind of a linked question, but how do you think you could do around Bahrain? Do you think McLaren can take the constructors next week?
Depends on Thiago, Kieran and Sassy. Well, I'm decent at Bahrain. I think it's one of my stronger tracks. But yeah, it depends if Kieran also shows good pace and if Thiago finishes the race.
Okay then, so circumstances from your perspective then, of course I think it's going to be a good showdown of course the McLarens and Haas's, you tend to be on the same part of the track, so I don't think that's the end of the fighting, certainly on track, and certainly not the end of the constructors as we go into the final round of the season. So yeah, congratulations for the win then, Alan, and good luck for next week, of course.
Thank you.
And yeah, that'll be that for F2 here in Italy at round 11. Of course, as I was saying, next week is going to be a constructors title decider between McLaren and Haas, so make sure to be around for that because they always tend to fight with each other. So I think maybe tensions will be running high between the two a little bit, and of course some people may be throwing spanners in the work. Of course, Paco Suarez will certainly in the mix. Maybe for his sake he can be in the mix once again in Bahrain. But yeah, apart from that, that has been IRL, brought to you by myself and Lordy a little bit in quali. And yeah, we will see you next week. Goodbye.